And welcome. Here we are. It's noon. It is second cup of coffee.
Yes.
With Jason and Billy. We are here.
Coffee.
So, happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. So every time before I get on and get to talk to you amazing people, I usually am putting the youngest to sleep. It's always like a, ooh, is he going to sleep tonight or this afternoon or isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Will he be joining us today? So luckily, about 2 minutes ago, he fell asleep. Yes.
He gives us that air of caution, right? That bit of excitement pre-show. For us deciding to do a live show at noon, we did not consult the baby.
Well, obviously he likes the show because he lets us do it.
Yeah, that's right.
He's sleeping. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, someone's drinking coffee with us. Hi.
Thank you. That's great. So yes, we are drinking Bustelo today. Bustelo coffee, and very good. And we are drinking cashew milk in lieu of almond milk, which has been pretty interesting. So good stuff right there. So let's dive in. It's been a great week so far. We actually came off an awesome weekend last weekend. Yesterday, really just dove in, got some work done today, really going after it and getting going. And just want to talk because we're having lots of comments about just really finding really happiness or feeling good, both mentally and physically. And right now, it can be difficult. We know, we're at home. We're here in New Jersey, and we may be home a bit longer than most the way that we're looking here. And I feel like we're getting so much bad news that it's almost better not to watch the news, which is pretty much a better thing across the board because there's not much positivity coming from there, and that can resonate to us overall, right? To how we're feeling, to how we're acting, to what we're doing, and it gives us so much caution or hesitation to get out there and get going, because sometimes when things are beating down around you, it gets into you, right? It gets into your soul, it gets in your body, it just gets in your feelings, and you belabor the point, and you just don't get out there. You don't do what you want to do. You don't take the action. And generally, from us getting to go out there and do more, there's usually a couple things holding us back. It's one is that, well, we just don't commit. And the next one would be that we don't give it enough time to evolve as we're building and as we're committing. We try it and it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. We say, oh, well, we tried that. Guess it doesn't work because I gave it a minute. Or we start or we don't start, or we start and stop based on what other people say, right? We're so worried about changing our path or changing what we're doing because what's going to be the feedback we're going to get from somebody else? What's going to be the overall opinion of someone else? And if we can get away from that, right? If we can just say, well, I think this might make me happy, so I'm going to try it. And I'm going to keep trying it until I finally figure out what it is that I'm doing here and what it is that's going to make me happy. And regardless of what other people are saying, I'm going to do it. I may look silly. I may not succeed. I may fail in a grandiose way, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to put my effort out there, and whatever comes back, it comes back.
So I'm thinking about this quote, and if I can remember it correctly, it goes something like this: other people's opinions are none of your business. Everyone's going to have an opinion, whether it's good and bad. Sometimes the good opinions might be the worst ones because they might be misleading. Somebody might be telling you, you're doing an awesome, fantastic job, but without it being like critical, without it being, having action steps on how you can improve, it really isn't meaning anything. And especially in today's society, especially now, since we're all online, so many of us base our worth, our self-worth, on the amount of likes and loves and engagement we get. Yes, as people are trying to get our message out there, we want all that. We want the engagement. But the thing is, my mindset is, if I help one person that is on here, I've fulfilled my mission for the day. Because I want to help. Of course, I want to help a kabillion people. But if I help one and that person helps another person, and that person helps another person, I mean, that's just exponential. So that's what I want to do. So I want to help one person. But going back to what Jason was saying about other people's opinions and the news.
Well, before you say that, is that you can't help anybody until you help yourself, right? Until you're into the right spot of feeling good with what you're doing and getting yourself out of the pit that you may feel in right now. And there's a lot of reasons for us to not feel our best right now. So all we can do is make the decision that enough's enough. We're going to go forward. We're going to take action. We are going to take steps to make ourselves better. And there's what keeps us down, right? We think, oh, it's too late, or we're too old, or, I remember, as silly as it was, telling myself I was too old to do something and forget what it was when I was like 22. It sounds ridiculous.
I remember that.
Ridiculous. But we all have that thought, right? That it's too late for me to start. Here I am, good old 25-year-old. The world is done. I might as well just, shop it in there. So on that fact, looking at what it is, what it can be right there, and what it comes out to be, ultimately, it makes the move of saying, well, what's next? What's next for me to make myself my best self, and to know that it's not too late. And I'm forgetting who the quote was from, but it's basically, you're never too late to be who you thought you'd be.
So I'm going to dig a little deeper. I'm not going to go back to what I was talking to you about because I've completely forgot it. Mom, pregnancy brain never goes away. So I'll get back to it at some point. I always do. But before I forget what I was going to talk to you about. So this morning I go for my run. So I'm on a personal challenge this week. Yesterday I ran 1 mile. That's kind of a mini challenge of what Jason did. Yesterday I ran 1 mile. Today I ran 2 miles. Tomorrow I'm going to run 3 miles, and so forth and so on until Saturday, which is 6 miles. And I'm going to stop on Sunday. So this morning I was going to listen to a book I'm actually reading, but I thought the voice was boring. So I was like, you know what? I've been meaning to listen to Brene Brown. I choose one of her books because I have them all on Audible, but for like a year now, and I have not listened to any of them. So I picked Daring Greatly, and she's like three paragraphs in, and I'm like running and crying and hyperventilating, and I can't get myself to stop. But it's because she was talking about vulnerability and how she had been like really, really against being vulnerable, wanted to try and make everything perfect, and had like this like feeling that she had to like get vulnerability and punch it in the face. Her words, not mine. And that just like hit me in like a deep place, because so much that we see online, and we look at people and we're like, oh my goodness, they have the most perfect lives. They're doing the most perfect things. I can't do that. There's truth behind everything. So I think if we find our most vulnerable selves, and I'm still working through why it hit me so hard. So maybe if anybody who's on here right now has an idea for me, please comment. Especially if you've read the book, I've only just started. But yeah, this kind of just digs in to trying to be your best self, but at the same time realizing those moments that you have to stop, especially if you're running and hyperventilating at the same time. I do not suggest that. Sometimes you just need to stop, take a look at what's happening, and call someone. I called a couple of friends. I actually went to one of my mom's groups on Facebook, and I was like, hey ladies, this is happening. What do you think? And I got back basically the equivalent of a ton of virtual hugs. So sometimes in those moments, to make yourself feel better or to get to that higher plane, you just need to talk to someone.
And Antonio mentioned here that a lot of people just try what's comfortable, right? Because that's what's comfortable. And they may get advice to try something hard, and they'll give it 1 time or 2 times and just say, oh, well, I gave it a shot and it's not perfect. And, we're actually seeing this with our little kids, right? They get so worked up that they can't figure something out right away, and they, it's give up. And it's that point to not help them and make them understand that the struggle or the learning part of the process is where the growth is, right? If we constantly, just there's something right out of your reach and we go and pick it up for you, or we constantly help you put your shoes on. There's never a learning curve there. It's not something that's going to be, it's going to be ingrained in us that we can do this. We can get over this. So, how can I feel better? How can we feel better? We can start doing and start giving ourselves things that we accomplish, stuff that actually make it better for us to do, something it's bigger for us to do, instead of just saying, okay, that was easy, I know how to do that, so I'm going to get to do it, and becomes routine or it becomes rote, right? So trying something outside of our core comfort and putting ourselves on a pedestal for accomplishing that task, that's how we can start feeling better. It's not going to feel good at first because we don't know, we feel clumsy, and we all feel awkward, and we think people are watching, right? You could be doing something in your driveway and you think the neighbors are all sitting there looking at the window, caring what you're doing, when in fact, not the case. People are too busy worried about themselves, or probably watching the news, or just checking up on things, or really just caring about their own selves, to really have the time to look at you while you try and grow. So how can we feel better? We can put the emphasis on finding new ways to challenge ourselves. And as we accomplish getting better, we can really appreciate what it takes to feel better as we're growing with it.
So for me, when it comes to news, I read headlines. And then if there's something that's awesome, guys, Luke read 3 books. Aren't you guys so proud of him? Awesomeness. You want to go to ABC Notes? Okay. So when it comes to news, isn't he awesome?
I would say one thing about Luke, to cut you off there. So Luke's learning Hawaiian, right? Which I think we spoke about on this part, which is pretty incredible. But me, outside my comfort zone, I'm very poor with languages, just the wording, right? So I'm trying, but he's correcting me at every little part. And it's frustrating to have your 5-year-old correcting you. I'm trying to read these books, I'm going to keep powering through. And sometimes it's, I got the word across, so let's just read the story in Hawaiian, because regardless, right? So for that, it's me, putting myself outside of my comfort zone, doing something that I don't have the linguistic tongue to be able to speak this, but I'm trying. But he's out there crushing it, because, as he's got into it, it just becomes natural. It becomes what he's learned to do and what he's actually doing. So for that, take it from a little kid. Right, just treat yourself like a little kid again. Like how excited you used to get, like trying these things and learning these things, and what it was about. And if we can get away from just focusing on the negativity and get back to putting ourselves in that feeling of just something that's novel, because we haven't seen it before, that would just ultimately make us feel so much better.
So I want to just say hi to Michelle, to Lisa. Lisa and I did what was it? Julius Caesar 1,000 years ago. And Michelle, hi. Oh, she said she saw us on Gary Vee. Awesome.
Oh, cool.
Talk about
fun experience. Yeah.
Talk about doing something that improves your life and taking yourself to the next level. Mm-hmm. Basically, for those who don't know that we were on Gary Vee, basically Jason asked, and he was just like, okay. So we got to be on Tea with Gary Vee. But to go back to
Auntie Ashley's watching.
Oh, hi, Auntie Ashley. And and she says Luke is so amazing, and she loves him. So Luke, you're amazing. So what was I saying? Oh yes, the news. So I read headlines. I read the headlines, and if it's something that I think is important, I'll start reading. As soon as the news starts sounding editorial, I cut it off. And it's either way. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle that it goes to, I cut it off, because all I want to hear are the pertinent information, and the information that will either make or break my life at this moment. Aw.
Yeah. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Rui. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for checking us out here. God bless you and your family too, Rui. Thank you so much. So yeah, it's the news. You have to be careful, right?
Yeah.
They're pros at getting you with headlines that can take you down rabbit holes. And next thing you know, an hour and a half later, you've read up on all these things that really have no meaning, because they've caught you into some kind of dialogue of what's actually happening out there. It's not really the case, but they sell, make money on ads, and they have to get you to read and get you engaged. So you have to really take into account, well, is this something I need in my life right now? Is this going to help me or benefit me? Or is there something I can do to dramatically help this? And if it's not, then maybe cut it out, right? Because it can make you feel better. If you can keep reading and having positive vibes and keep putting out there and talking to people. I had was reaching out to people just to say hello, and caught up with someone I hadn't talked to in couple of years, and it was great, right? Just, it was great because it conjures up those good memories, those great parts about different times in your life. That was great, and just allows different energies to come in, and it's good to have that energy come back to you in a positive way. And there could have been that time spent, or there could have been the time spent doing something that wasn't as proactive, and in any kind of negative fashion, reading the internet or being on Facebook down into rabbit holes of people's conversations. But if it's not adding to your day, then delete it.
And if it's negative, you don't need to be reading that. Not at all. You don't need to be reading negativity and stuff that's just going to bring you down. I get it. There's a bunch of news, like actual happenings that's going to negatively impact you, but you don't have to read the feelings and thoughts of people reacting to that. That's not for you to read. What you need to do is digest it, use it, and then move on. That's how you stay positive. You don't let those negative things drag you down. There's so much today. I mean, even with the pandemic, everything that was happening before the pandemic is still happening. The world is still happening around us, but how are you going to shape your world to push you, your family into that higher level, into the goals that you want for you and your family, into the goals that you want for you and your friend? And how are you going to bring people along with you on this positive journey, on this journey that, you're not only going to rise your ship, you're going to raise the ships of others.
All right. So let's call this Positive Tuesday.
Yes.
And guess what?
I like it.
Tomorrow can be Positive Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So
what about Thursday?
There you go. Done. What's positive in Hawaiian?
Jeez.
Should I get the 5-year-old embarrass us all?
Maikai.
Maikai?
Maikai. Maikai is just good.
Good.
It's
great.
Maikai loa. Very good.
Very good. So you've learned your lesson today. If you can repeat back and tell us what amazing is in Hawaiian tomorrow, you'll get an extra bonus from the Jason and Peely project here over at Second Cup of Coffee. All right. So happy Tuesday. Taking up enough of your time. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Of course, go over, subscribe on the YouTube channel. Love it. Got a ton of fun stuff going out there. Happy Tuesday.
So grateful. Bye now.